So I made what I think is the coolest extruder cover for my 3D printer. Now Sidewinder already has a lot of model and all of them are really cool. But none of them had RGB, none of them are gamer-like. So I think gaming products are cool because of the design and RGB. So first I want to start with the design. So in my opinion there's two types of design. The first one is the flashy one that has a lot of weird geometries, and that's one the subtle one that doesn't really scream at you. So I decided to go with the one that screams at you. Finally done. This was months of work and this is just for the design. Like this lot of design flaws in this model that I can't actually use it for extruder cover. But let's see if the people like it. Alright, let's stick with this design. So now for the RGB. So as you can see there's no holes between the patterns for the light to go through. So that's one thing to fix, but that's not the only thing we need to fix. Remember how I said it's not even usable? So let's see which parts aren't actually usable. So the fan cover on the left side, that's gonna hit the extruder motor, and also the thin part on the front, that's too thin that 3D printer is not gonna be able to print it, at least most 3D printers. And finally, this is all in one part, so it's not gonna give the user flexibility to which parts they want to use. So let's make this into different parts. Finally done, again. So it's the final version of the model, and I fixed all the problem that I mentioned before. And part of it that this is much more flexible now. So you can also use a single fan version. So this single fan version is not tested. So if you have any problems with it, then I will be releasing the project file for this, so you can use it and make your own version that actually works. Also, I did not make a version for a 515 fan or BMG extruders or Hemera extruders, so you can also make your own versions. This is all free on MyMiniFactory and on Thingiverse. I put the link down in the description, so please get them. And finally, now for the assembly part. So as you can see in this messy picture, first you need to get your PCB cover off and your part cooling fan along with the fan duct. But before we actually start assembling things on the extruder, we need to get 3 things ready. The first thing is to get the fan mount ready. So in the part cooling fan, you just need to slide it into the fan mount and it should just align and just clip in there. But in case it doesn't actually align, then you can just sand the back plate and try to fit it in. I know I had this problem the first time, but I believe I fixed it in the model before I publish it. The second thing you need to do is you need to get the RGB strip, stick to the fan cover and put it through the hole as you can see in the video. And finally you need to get the PCB cover and just clip the steering leaf onto the mount. And after you just got it clipped in there, get the screw in there. But as you can see in the video, make some space for the ribbon cable to go through. We are now finally ready to put things on the extruder. So first let's mount the part cooling fan mount on the extruder. So now let's mount the fan cover with RGB strip onto the extruder. To do this, you just have to unscrew the 2 screws on the right side of the fan and then put in a longer screw through the fan cover and screw it tight in. Now time to stick the RGB strip around the fan mount as you can see in the video. Now let's move to the PCB side of the extruder. First put the RGB strip through the hole of the PCB cover and then through the side hole of the PCB cover. Now as you can see in the video, I have my ribbon cable already in, but please don't put the ribbon cable in yet. First we have to stick the RGB strip to the PCB cover just like the lines in the video. Now slide in the ribbon cable onto the PCB cover just a little bit and then tighten the screws on the center relief. Now insert the ribbon cable onto the slot, but carefully since ribbon cables are really fragile. Now finally you can screw the PCB covers onto your extruder. Now slide the cover for the fan mount onto the fan mount. Now get a long screw and put it through the front fan and the fan mount and the cover that is on top of it and screw everything in. Get a wire sleeving and slide it through the RGB strip until it reaches a hole on the PCB cover. Slide in the zip tie onto the little slot under the hole and then secure it tight in. Now hide the ugly look of the zip tie using a little cover that I made. Put the fan duct onto the fan mount and it should just clip in there, but in case it didn't, you can use a super glue. But I don't recommend using a super glue until you test the fan duct since my fan duct is not perfect. If you are using a dual fan setup just like me, you have to splice in the 2 wires of the fan. Since the stock cooler is 0.1 amps, if you put in the 2 fans in parallel, it should go to 0.1 amps. I got a fan with 0.05 amps, so I can do this, but remember to get a fan that is around the 0.05 amps. After you're done connecting the 2 wires from the 2 fans, or you're using a single fan version, plug the fan back into the extruder. At this point, your extruder should function properly, but we still have to do something with the wires that are coming out of it. Now that is the X-axis mount that you see on your file, but don't print this one since that caused a lot of problems. And that problem is that it kept kinking. I made a new design and I uploaded it on MyMiniFactory, so please get that one. To install this, you have to unscrew the 2 screws under the X-axis belt and screw it back in through the 2 holes on the model. Now you have to curve the wire sleeving and zip tie it to the model. This is the final part of the assembly. All you have to do is to connect the RGB strip to the power. Now I did make a little model so you can redirect the RGB strip to the under the base so you can light up the base of your printer, but if you don't have to use this, then you don't have to. What I meant, if you don't want to use it, then you don't have to use it. And you are finally done. Now I think my 3D printer looks much cooler with the RGB, and I'm still getting good results, so it's a win-win. So if you want to get it, then it's free on MyMiniFactory and on Thingiverse. Thank you for watching the video. Bye.